This week we take a look at Guardians of the Galaxy here on the Robotic Movie Project. There's this feeling that there's just no way to keep this thing going. That the next film is going to be where this all falls apart. Or maybe you're just a hipster and you don't want to see something become popular. Many thought that shoe would drop in the form of Guardians of the Galaxy, a sci-fi space romp that brings the Marvel Cinematic Universe into space. Many said that this was going to be the film that was going to be Marvel's undoing. Except, that hasn't happened. Based on a comic that's been around since the 70s, Guardians of the Galaxy brings together a group of misfits and criminals who all find they have something in common. And what's that? They're misfits and criminals. Without getting too spoiler heavy, the plot involves Thanos, who enlists a Kree warrior named Ronan the Accuser to track down an artifact called the Infinity Stone. Ronan wants to use the stone to destroy the planet Xandar. Peter Jason Quill is caught stealing the stone at the beginning of the film and is thrown into prison with Rocket, a genetically altered intelligent raccoon, and Groot, a walking tree, who are also trying to steal back the stone along with Gamora. While in prison, they meet Drax the Destroyer, whose family was murdered by Ronan. So they all decide to team up and escape, and the story takes off from there. Peter Jason Quill, aka Star-Lord, is kidnapped by aliens as a child and grows up in outer space, where he becomes a two-bit outlaw who fancies himself as a latter-day Han Solo. Chris Pratt does an excellent job as the goofy yet endearing Quill. When you were a kid and you imagined yourself as Han Solo, this is how exactly it would have played out. Both Bradley Cooper and Vin Diesel, despite his limited vocabulary, are excellent in bringing both Rocket and Groot to life. You completely buy into the idea that there's a talking raccoon and a walking tree, and you don't question it for a second. Zoe Saldana is great as Gamora, one of the best female characters to come along in any comic book movie thus far. The surprise of the film has to be David Bautista, former wrestling star, as Drax. Even covered from head to toe in makeup, he puts in a terrific performance as the bruiser who doesn't quite have a handle on the use of metaphors. Even though there are lots of characters, director James Gunn does an excellent job to make sure all of them get adequate screen time. Gunn also does a great job of keeping the audience invested in the film by tying the movie back to Earth by incorporating a stellar soundtrack, which helps Guardians stay rooted within the rest of the Marvel Universe, reinforcing that this is not just happening somewhere out in space, but adjacent to the other Marvel films. There's lots of nods to other characters within the Marvel Cosmic Universe, and it helps if you know what they are, but it's not necessary. Gunn does his best to keep the movie accessible to newcomers and balance it out for those who are more knowledgeable as to who and what those references are. Once again, Marvel shows it has a great knack for choosing directors who have the ability to bring what might be obscure material across to a general audience. Gunn has done exactly this with a comic book that audiences have no real memory of and was largely forgotten even by comic book fans. Guardians of the Galaxy is a good film. No, wait. It's a great film. It's the kind of science fiction big summer blockbuster that if you're a certain age, you grew up with as a kid, before comic book movies decided they needed to be dark and gritty. Of course, there will be those who will say, I can't take this movie seriously. And I say to them, a talking raccoon with a gun. You're not supposed to take it seriously. Is this the best Marvel movie yet? That's a tough call. Seeing Captain America the Winter Soldier was outstanding, but it is very good and close to the top. Guardians of the Galaxy gets a solid 5 out of 6 Chewbaccas. That's it for now. See you next time.
My pilot light shining, pilot light shining bright.